Galston is familiar with debt as former domestic policy advisor to President Clinton and currently a senior fellow at the Brookings Institution. He joins us now from his office in Washington. Mr. Galston, welcome to Bloomberg's Bottom Line. A pleasure to have you on.
Good to be here.
Sir, I know you've been hearing the political back and forth concerning the debt ceiling. We just heard Tim Geithner. He had been testifying before Congress a while back, and he said not raising the debt ceiling would be, in his words, reckless and irresponsible. Is he right?
He's absolutely right, and I'm convinced that in the end, the administration, congressional Republicans, and congressional Democrats will find a way of getting it done.
Give me a sense, then, what is the significance to the American economy and to the American reputation abroad concerning America's full faith and credit and its ability to pay its debt and deal with its friends?
Well, I think the answer to your question is pretty much contained in the question itself. The full faith and credit of the United States is at stake centrally and unquestionably in the debt ceiling debate. At the same time, it's becoming increasingly clear, I think, to the White House as well as to the entirety of Congress, that the president is not going to get what he initially asked for, namely a quote-unquote clean bill, a debt ceiling increase with no surrounding fiscal provisions. I think that he's going to have to accept a package which includes the debt ceiling and a serious down payment on long-term fiscal restraint. And the question is, how big will the down payment be? What will its shape be? And how much tugging and hauling is it going to take to get us to the package that we're going to need?
Mr. Galston, as you're no doubt aware, there are several members of Congress, a lot of them members of the Tea Party, who say that we do need to get our fiscal house in order, and one way to do that is not to raise the debt ceiling. I'm taking you don't agree with their argument. Why do you think they're wrong?
Well, they're wrong because there is really no alternative to raising the debt ceiling. And if you don't believe me, just take a look at Representative Ryan's budget. Under Representative Ryan's budget, which as far as I can tell represents the conservative vision of our fiscal future, we continue to run debts and deficit as far as the eye can see. We can argue about the track and pace, but we're going to have to continue to issue more public debt in order to finance any conceivable budget that we can foresee for the next 10 years. Period, full stop. And so Republicans have got to raise the debt ceiling as much as Democrats do.
Mr. Galston, President Obama, as we know, is going to be speaking tomorrow. He's going to be talking about some deficit cutting measures. What are you expecting to hear?
I mean, there have been so many leaks and rumors coming out of the White House and Congress, it's hard to know. But one thing is clear. The White House has raised expectations about the contents of this speech. At the very least, the president is going to have to take a significant step beyond what he did in his State of the Union, beyond what he put into his FY12 budget proposal released just a couple of months ago in February. And if he doesn't take a significant and concrete step forward, I think the political system is going to be disappointed, and even more to the point, I think the markets are going to be quite disappointed.
The president's speech tomorrow, do you believe that he is going to embrace any of the recommendations that were made by the Simpson-Bowles Commission?
I suspect he will. I can't tell you which ones, but clearly, people are going to be looking hard and listening hard for items such as Medicare, Medicaid, and fundamental tax reform. And I expect him to say something concrete in each one of those areas. I do not expect him to endorse any of the proposals that Representative Ryan and the House Republicans are making in those three areas, but I expect him to make counter proposals.
Where do you think that the president may differ then from the Simpson-Bowles report?
It's really too early to tell. Simpson-Bowles, of course, included some recommendations for Social Security. Not even Representative Ryan went that far, although he did call for a process that would lead to Social Security changes. And it's not clear to me that the president is going to go down that road either.
All right. William Galston, former Clinton domestic policy advisor, now a member of the Brookings Institution. Mr. Galston, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.